everyone. Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday. I'm so used to always being a Friday. So happy Sunday. It is December the 12th of the year 2021. I always forget to date the videos because people will sometimes watch them out of order. So let me give you a couple updates as you're coming in and joining. Number one, here we go. Make sure everything's up because we've been having glitchy issues with Facebook all day. So I know Facebook's getting ready for a major overhaul on the business page. And when stuff like that happens, it generally, like when you notice a lot of freezing, a lot of interruptions, it usually means that Facebook's in the midst of doing some changes on their site. So today we are doing a Victorian take on Valentine's Day with this gorgeous sign. Isn't this beautiful? This is from Three Birds Nests on Etsy. So I will be posting the link to her shop. It's just three, the number spelled out T-H-R-E-E, birds, just like it sounds, B-I-R-D-S, nest, and then C-O on Etsy, and you can find all her gorgeous signs. We are also doing our last 12 days of Christmas giveaway, and it will happen at some point during this live. So I have some people who are going to be looking for specific indicators. So this is our last giveaway, our last live for 2021. So I was trying to make it fairly big to basically thank you guys for all your support, all your comments, all of your feedback, all of the fundraising that we have done this year, which today's the cutoff date for Project Touch, which is helping families who are struggling this Christmas. And so what we're doing is the money that we raise, we are purchasing $20 gift cards, and Steve and I will match everything that you guys put out there. So far to date, we have raised $86.77. So why is it odd? Because of the stars. So that's that little indicator below, right next to your comment to the right on Facebook. If you click on that button, 1 star equals 1 cent. So if you send 100 stars, it's basically $1. So if people send, I don't know, 7 stars, it's 7 cents. So our goal, at least, hopefully before the end of today, is let's see if we can possibly even that out to an even $100. And then that way we will be donating $200 towards Project Touch, which will help families in need this Christmas. And then we'll do another fundraiser starting over in January. So this works out perfect the way everything is timed. So what do you need to do to purchase or to participate in the giveaway? Just comment, just participate, because they're going to be looking for a specific time mark, and the person who hits that comment on that specific time point in the course of our video will be the winner of the giveaway, and I'll announce that at the end. What I will need from you will be your mailing address, your first and last name, for you to email me at KatsCreationsNMore@gmail.com. We are giving away, are you guys ready? We're giving away, thanks to Pam at Personalize It by Pam. She's giving away a 10-pack of 10 signs plus shipping, so it'll be priority shipping. So that is our 12th day of Christmas giveaway. So that's a pretty big one. You guys know that I'm a huge fan of her signs. Her artwork is gorgeous. She gives you such an awful lot to work off of. So let's go ahead and get started on this one. So I am using red and gold. It's actually not really a true red. It's more like a burgundy. So we're doing burgundy and gold, and I'm going to finish wiring up this 14-inch Dollar Tree wreath frame. So all the other sections are done exactly the same way, because this one's going to be kind of highly metallic. So we're going to take our pipe cleaner and put it right in between these two weld marks. So we're going to wire in the two innermost sections, just like that. Give it a couple twists. What that does is create stability in that frame. For example, if you were to just try to put it around one rail, no matter how hard you twist, you will get flippy floppy pipe cleaners, which means they won't stay where you want them to stay, and then they will slide all over the place, and so will your mesh that you secure it to. So by wiring together two, it gives it better stability. It kind of stays put. So we're going to do the same here. We're using this and this to find a midway point. And then we're going to do another one. That's weird. They're all stuck together. We're going to do it on the opposite side the same way. This gives us 6 on the inside. What I mean is on the inside 2, 12 to the outside 2 for a grand total of 18. Okay, so where did I get the pipe cleaners? So Joann's was having an incredible sale where they did this weekend, where they sold pipe cleaners like this in huge bags at like 60 to 75% off. So these were the Christmas colors, which is where the metallic came from. They also do them in a handful of other colors. I'm trying to see. Here's the blue pack that came. So that was kind of nice for today's live where we did a winter wreath. So that's a really good deal. You get 300 pipe cleaners in there. So let's go ahead and get started. We are using a 10-inch Deco mesh, and this is a red metallic with a gold foil stripe down the center. Now we're going to do ruffles for the whole design. So I'm just going to follow this middle section of foil. I usually just put scissors on the end to keep everything straight. This mesh you can cut with a wood burning tool, which will help keep your frays to a minimum, if you get any at all. And then we're just going to center that with the finished edge to the inside, and then we're going to twist it about 5 times because I'm going to remove the inside 6 as I go along, just like that. Okay. This Deco mesh is from Craft Outlet. So this was perfect when I looked at the simplicity of the sign, the fact that it's just gold and like various shades of red. So this worked out really well because I didn't want a true red. I wanted something a little bit more muted. So this worked out just perfect. I happen to have 1 roll of this mesh. So knowing that all I had is 1 roll helps you determine what type of design you're going to do, which means I can't do cruffles because I wouldn't have enough mesh to go through there, because cruffles need to be between 25 and 30 inches depending upon the thickness of your mesh. And I didn't want to do curls because you still need to put quite a few of those in. So I just thought, let's keep it super simple and let's just ruffle it. This way it'll give us flat real estate to work on, which means if you want to add some embellishments, it gives you that option. So you always want to make sure when you're laying your mesh in that it's pretty well centered. Like you don't have more to the center than you do on the bottom. And I'm always going to start prepping. These are going to blend really well. Look, the red, you can't even really see it. That's going to be hard to find. But it's also going to look really nice by the time we're done. So I am flying solo today. Steve is in Oklahoma visiting our youngest for Christmas. While we can, he just did a quick weekend trip. The mesh, Carol, came from Craft Outlet. And I don't know how long ago it was that I had it, but I haven't used it for a while. So this roll's been sitting there for a bit. But I'm sure if you, once you're on Craft Outlet's site, just type in red and gold mesh. Hopefully something similar will come up. And now there's so many different suppliers for wreath supplies. For us wreath makers, it's nice. I mean, there's a lot of people who started off as wreath makers and now they're doing wreath making plus supplies. So that's nice because they already know the quality of what we look for. So you know they're going to sell some good stuff. So I am just, when I worked with that one on the inside, I am taking the time to make sure that my outside mesh pieces, like right here, there's visibility on both ends for me to put my tails there. Most of the time when I do it, I just lay them in there. And so what I've been doing, starting the video, it must have been starting Friday. I've been using the inside 6 to basically fill the gap between the outside 12. And I'll show you what I mean. So in every section, you have 2 outside and 1 inside. So when you add your outside piece, like this, I'm not going to fluff this ruffle all the way around just yet. Put my 2 good twists on there. I'm going to do the ruffle for the inside. Just like so. Now I'm just going to move this to the side. Let's get these ones out of the way. So I'm going to grab the one from the inside. I'm going to get that seated in there. We'll remove the pipe cleaner. Okay, we're going to go ahead and tip that down. This one, it needs to stay in the rear. So it means that you need to pull the one that's to the left on top of that and take your bottom, pull your center one down, and then let your other one sit on top. This way it covers all the gaps that could potentially be in between. If that makes sense. Thanks, Ray. I appreciate that. She says, you're such a great teacher. I try to remember that in every single video, there is probably somebody who is catching this live for the very first time. So I just need to remember that not everybody watches it like, oh, here's her video. Okay, how long has she been doing this? I should probably go back and watch her beginning ones. No, that's not how it works. I try to make sure that the information I give you works for a first-time viewer or somebody who's been watching it for a while. I was reading Brenda's comment saying Kat's a very good teacher. I've learned a lot from her. A lot of people that are in my private group are not, they don't sell for the business. They're just learning techniques to make products as gifts for their family and friends. They have no desire to go into business. I always say that's interesting because at some point, I think everybody says that, but then what ends up happening is people see what you do, and then somebody tells somebody else, and then they are like, well, I want to buy it from you. So without realizing it, they kind of start going into business. That's how it happened for me. I just was doing them for family and friends. And then someone says, you should sell those. And I was like, nobody will buy that. And at that time, wreath making was just getting started. So it's kind of nice when you have some background already. And I think God was preparing me all along, because he used 10 years prior to that for me to get really good at breaking down subject matter, because I was a corporate trainer for a customer service department in wireless telecommunications. So we had to teach people how to talk to customers on the phone. We had to provide tech support for people who didn't know how to use the features on their phone, or who locked their phone and couldn't unlock it. You know, you have the most basic people, and then you have people who might be technology challenged, who are getting very frustrated. And so it was our way, that's what I always said, that God was preparing me for this well in advance. And at the time, I was building a blog base with blogging friends and working with Christian publishing companies and learning a little bit about the marketing side of things without realizing it. So you never know how God's going to take your experience and completely blow your mind with what comes next in your life. Oh, thanks, Laura. She said this message is coming out so nice. Yeah, I love using high foil metallics. And I can't wait to see what it's going to look like with everything else that we decide to add. All the embellishments and... because I always think that Victorians, the Victorian age was a time period where people, wasn't so much the rich people, but I guess it started out either in the late 1800s, early 1900s. You had the people of wealth who created some beautiful things. And so that just kind of spilled over. And then you had people who, hang on a second, who just devised these beautiful creations to decorate their homes. Hi, Metha. Thanks for joining us from Michigan. So don't forget as well, there's just 2 weeks remaining. Is it 2 weeks? Is it really? It's almost 2 weeks left of the year. So 2 weeks remaining, and then we start our Back to Basic classes beginning in January. So if you ever wanted to learn all there is to know about wreath making, that's a class you don't want to miss. So we run it for about 6 weeks. And you learn everything from deco mesh types, wreath frame types, ribbon choices. You learn color theory, how to mix and match your colors, how to put a design together so you're not wasting material. What to do when you struggle with, you know, should I do a sign? Should I do embellishments? What should I do? So we walk you through all of that. And then we start with deco mesh and we go through all the basic methods. Ruffles, curls, cruffles, bubbles, poofs, and curl and weave. And then we start to get into grapevine and floral design, evergreens, hoops, specialty forms like Unique in the Creek boards, wired wreath forms that are shaped like stars or crosses. So you really get a hands-on of everything. And if you guys are interested in that, just go to my website at KatsCreationsNMore.com. Right now you can sign up for the year which is you pay for 10 months and get 2 months for free. And those classes, I believe, will come back, I want to say New Year's Day is on a Sunday, so we will start all of our private groups. I think January 3rd is the first day back. So these pieces are cut to 20 inches. I thought I only had one left, and then I looked down on the floor and I see the wayward ruffle. Oh, thanks, Joy. I appreciate that. She said you're good at everything. Explaining, crafting, making ribbons, matching colors, and talking to us to explain. I try. Because I try to think of the questions you guys would most likely want to know. Let's get this one in here. This is the hard to get, the last piece. So we're trying to get him in, or her, it. And let's get that fanned out up over our centerpiece, just like that. Okay, let's get this one. It fanned under. Let's get this to fan up and out. And you're up and over. There we go. Okay, so that is as full as it is. So you cannot see, and I probably should have flipped this to the white side, but this has provided really good coverage. So I have my hands underneath, so you can't see. So this provides you with a really good base. Now we're going to come in with some elegant ribbon. So let me show you our ribbon choices. First of all, we are going with it's kind of like a fleur-de-lis pattern, and it's not really a sheer, but it kind of is, but it's really thick. This is 2.5 inches cut to 14-inch pieces for our tails. And this is from, believe it or not, hang on a sec, Lowe's. When Lowe's carries ribbons, sometimes they actually carry Deco mesh too. And then we're doing this gold banded 1.5 inch. That's what these two are going to be paired with. These are cut to 18-inch pieces. And the gold is from Craft Outlet. Then we are doing this gorgeous, it almost looks like wallpaper. It's so pretty. It's another filigree print. This is 3 inches. This is from Hobby Lobby. This has come out every year since I've been doing this. So you can find this at Hobby Lobby if there's any available. Again, 14-inch pieces. And then we are going to top it with a sheer filigree, because this is so beautiful. You don't want to cover it. I just want to accent it. So I'm going with the sheer right on top. And those will be our 2 ribbon choices all the way around. So I'm going to do these one at a time. So we're going to fill first our tails, which is just fold them in half. They've already been dovetailed because ain't no one got time to watch all that. And we're going to put this with our red. No, let's put this with gold, because our top end will be gold. So I'm going to put it in there a couple twists. Now see how it divots down? What you want to do is put your fingers underneath and pop that divot so it fans up and out. So it radiates away. It doesn't stay like in a pit. Then we're going to put a half bow on top, which is just take your 18-inch piece, tails together, go up about 2 inches from the top, pinch in. You're going to lay this right inside the pipe cleaner. We're going to give it a couple good twists so that there's no likelihood of it ever somewhat potentially coming undone. So we're snipping it right there at the twist. We're going to take that end nub. We're going to put it right behind the gold. So it's right back here. You're going to open up your loop. You're going to separate your tails. You have to right side one. Okay. So this way you can see both. So that's just going to accent that gold throughout the design. Then the next one is we're going to take that 3-inch, again, fold it in half, find the midway point. I always like try to angle them down, just makes it easier to put them in. And we are going to couple twists, put your fingers up, make that ribbon pop up and out. And then we are going to put the 1.5 inch sheer right on top the exact same way. And we're going to end our pipe cleaners the same way. Right behind. Go ahead and open it, kind of pop that one down. I find that if I wait till I get the top one in, get the top piece set, and then I can kind of do both of them at the same time. Just like that. And then we don't have to hide all that beautiful patterns on the ribbon. What do you guys think of those colors? It's weird because when I look at the my video feed, it looks kind of orangey, like it looks like tomato red, and it's really not. It's more along the lines of a deep burgundy. So there's that. Thanks, Edna. Okay, we'll push this in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Thanks, Arvina. She said I love the ribbon colors. I always have to remember that our YouTube viewers don't get an opportunity to see what the comments are because they don't read the comments. They can't. It doesn't come through on a YouTube. Clara said, is burgundy the same as maroon? Could be similar. It just depends. This is like, it's just a really deep, deep shade. It's like, I think it would be to where you have a little bit of brown in your red. You have that color. I'm trying to get my pipe cleaner out, which is right here. That's why I was taking the time to prep the pipe cleaners. Make sure that they were standing up and down. Yeah, Carmen, I can't wait to, that's like that in every single design. She says, I can't wait to see the finished design. I agree with you. That's always my favorite part. It's always, hi Annette. She said, hello, nice people. I always love building the bow and then getting ready to put the sign on. Joy says, I bet you sell a lot of your beautiful creations. Not many, because if you think about it, I only make in the course of a week. Well, Christmas time is always busier because we do 2 tutorials every week plus 2 publics. So I do 4 wreaths a week starting, is it starting in August? I think it's tail end of August or beginning of September. So it gets crazy. But other than that, I'm only doing 1, 2, 3 a week. God, that's still a lot, huh? That is a lot. Hi, Rosario. She said hello, Kat and Steve. I'm sure Steve's on here. I'm looking at a comment. Hold on. Because my comments are stuck. Was it the aqua and turquoise wreath? I'm lost, Guadalupe, with the question. Oh, you saw it and it was gorgeous. The winter wreath. Hi, Sue. Welcome from New Jersey. Bobby says, I miss hearing Steve. Yeah, his presence has definitely been missed. I always miss it when he's gone, though. Claire says, I don't understand customers wanting a wreath last minute. They might have other things going on in their life. They might be dealing with, you know, a family health crisis. They might have last minute change of plans where, you know, everything was going to be at so-and-so's house and now all of a sudden it's going to theirs. And so they need that wreath last minute. So no telling what goes on in people's lives. Can we get a closer look at the gold ribbon? Absolutely. Hang on just one second. Let me zoom in. Okay, so here is the gold, the one that I said looks like wallpaper. It looks gorgeous. If I had a home, I would probably do this in a dining room. And then this is the sheer. It has that same gold leaf pattern on it. Here is that burgundy. It's just got a little bit of, it's in glitter, but it's the same pattern. And then the gold is just got, it's like a gold backing, but then it's also got a little bit of a stitch on top to create rose. It really is pretty. I think I did something similar to this at a couple of years ago, Christmas. We did a Victorian Christmas and we used a lot of golds and reds and a little bit of pine just to kind of create that opulent look. Let's go out. And we'll go around, open. I think we're about halfway. Okay. Joy says one person I was following was doing red and turquoise. Oh yeah, those are like the new trending colors right now, that it's like a vintage retro look from like the 70s. It looks amazing paired together. And I agree. I would have never thought those two would have paired well together. But it was funny, I did my first retro Christmas wreath in those colors and it sold right away. So it just goes to show, you never know. Yeah, it does have a striped pattern to it. The gold ribbon. It's really, really pretty. Okay. It's so weird working with the metallic pipe cleaners because they're so much thinner than the regular fuzzy pipe cleaners or Chanel stems, whatever you want to call them. I want to make sure we can see all those loops. Can't be hiding behind Deco mesh curls. Let's go ahead and kind of take those two and overlap them. Back to our gold. We're in. pop those. Oh, thanks, Joy. She says it is elegant for sure. I think once we add our Deco mesh pieces, and I didn't really want this to feel like a Valentine's Day wreath because this could be an anniversary. This could be a proposal. This could be a wedding. Because it doesn't really say Happy Valentine's Day, it just says hello, love. That could be a term of endearment. So I like having that. Oh, Charlotte, I was asked to make a wreath to hang at our office Christmas party. Nice. That's a definite way to showcase your talents and your business. Love doing that. Yeah, this can be used all year. It is definitely not specific to just Valentine's Day. And that's why the ribbon choices that I picked, I didn't want to put anything. I guess you could have done something with just hearts. But technically you could change the sign and do a really nice, ooh, this would look really good as a Dickens, like a Charles Dickinson Christmas wreath with these colors. How gorgeous that would look on a front door. In my head, I'm hearing hello, love in British accent. I love that, Laura. I guess I would too. Wrong one. So Rita says, I made more whimsical wreaths this year. The elf and snowman were really popular. Yeah, I'd be curious to know, what were like your top sellers this year for the holidays? Like some people did really well with gnomes. Other people did really well with just evergreens. Like their evergreens sold more than their mesh. Some people did very natural looking ones, no signs. So I'd be interested. I should have been on it a little bit more because I had some really good designs, but I always try to just make those a one and done. Oh, that's fun. Guadalupe says for our office wreath, you could add accents for from your office. That would be super cute. They do that a lot. Disney in their Cars Land area where they decorate for the holidays. They do like, they don't have a wreath. It's all done in tires. And then it's all like hubcaps are decorated. And then there's all like the spare parts, like headlights. And it's really super cute themed. But I would agree. Bobby said mine was half mesh, half and half mesh, and grapevines. Irvina says it seemed for me it was just a combination of everything. Oh, hey Steve, that was a good idea. Have office gifts as the gift exchange. So maybe whoever you're gifting that to, that could become a gift exchange item. Okay, last one. It's kind of tucked in there. We'll have to fix that before we can put anything in it. See, like right now it's like, feels kind of cramped. So this just needs to get opened up, which means take some of the mesh that's just kind of gotten stuck back there and pull it back out. So we created an opening. Oh, Lord, Charlotte. In her accents for her office party, it would probably be handcuffs because she's a correctional officer. That's super cute. I'm sure people wouldn't understand it until you told them what your job was. Anna said, my Hobby Lobby has hardly anything left. I'm scared to go over to our Hobby Lobby. I think it would be just crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Joyce says, I got great deals on markdowns for Thanksgiving. That's great. Anna, no. They were already putting out spring and summer stuff. No. No. What happened to Valentine's Day? What happened to Mardi Gras? Spring and summer is still a long ways away. There's a lot of holidays in between there. That's a bit much. Let's tuck this one. I'm going to pull this one to the front now. Just like that. And we'll fix that. So now all the outside loops are all done. So let's build the bow. I'm going to set this over here. So we are going to, I'm going to put the darker red at the bottom because I like the wallpaper pattern on top. We already have our gold and our sheer. And then we also have, I'm just doing a solid burgundy canvas. And then we're going to pop the gold. So I think it's going to go like that. Honestly, I think that's a good combo. So I'm going to set those aside. I know, who was it? Molly said, I'm not ready for spring and summer yet. I so agree. I just want to get through winter. We're just now getting a change in the seasons here. Okay, so I skipped that whole step. So I'll show you on the end piece for this. Brenda, I'm sure everyone thanks you for letting us see the tour of your home for Christmas. Barbara, no summer, not yet. She's like, I'll take summer, please. Okay, 10 inches in. Here's the recipe for the bow. So 10 inches in, you're gonna pinch. You're gonna twist. You're going to place that in your bow dabra. You are going to flip, and we're going for 5.5 inch. 5.5 inch. That's only 5, so we need to stretch it a little bit further. Right about there. There's 5 inches. Michelle, I wish I had more resin to choose from. I have the sign, but no ribbon choices. Well, the great thing is you can always find gold and burgundy. You could look for velvet. That would be a really nice accent for this. Just see what some of the vendor choices are. Okay, Kat, you need to bring that one in. There's 5.5. And then 10 inches out. So let's do this. So we are going to, I just did it again. I'm so used to just mowing through it. Okay, look, now I'm gonna do it. I said that before, but now I really mean it. Okay, how to do a dovetail. So we are going to fold our wire edges so they are together. You're going to cut on the folded side to the pointed end, not from this side to that side. Because if you do it this way, you'll get a point. You could almost see that. It's a point. So this way is your dovetail edge. Okay, so just like that. And then you get the perfect finished edge. So this one now is going to be, Barbara said, I did decide today, though, as much as I dislike the cold and snow, that I'm counting my blessings we were not in the tornado area. I agree. There's so many people that today just picked up and carried on their life as though that was yesterday's news. And I always think about that when you're dealing with a storm in your life, like a really bad time that, you know, people say, I pray for you. But I know being in a situation where you're like, well, I appreciate your prayer, but you're walking around like your life's falling apart and everybody else is just going about their day as though nothing has happened. You know, people could have experienced great loss. Like all these people right before the holidays, how things are going to drastically change for them. I don't want to lose sight of that ever. Bobby, no, the second tail is at 9.5, but thank you for asking. So the first one is at 10, then it's at 9.5. The loop size is 5.5 and 5. So now we are going to pull these ones apart. Yes, Irvina, they need our prayers for sure. And don't ever discredit the amount of power that can be unleashed by people who pray, because that may be the difference between somebody being found and someone not. You know, one day when we all get to heaven, we will see the impact of what prayer has done or does. And I think a lot of us will live with a deep regret knowing we should have prayed an awful lot more. Yeah, I agree, Joy. She says it's always sad when people go through tragedy just before the holidays. Anything. When people find out that they have their job loss. Like we found out last year at this time that come March of this year, Steve was, he had the option. He could have migrated into a position that was basically, we want you to do the job of 2 people, but we're only going to pay you the salary of 1. Or you can go find a job somewhere else. So we chose, it's time for a change. We need to go look someplace else. Because that's not how you treat people who put in, I'm trying to think, 8 years in the company. But it was also confirmation that it was the right decision for us. So I just told God, I'm like, well, if you're going to relocate him in his job, you're going to have to help me sell a few more wreaths. Right, Barbara? I sit here in my own comfortable house and I can't imagine losing everything. Not even having a house anymore. Okay, let me give you guys the dimensions. So each time I'm adding a new ribbon, I'm going shorter on the tail by half an inch. So we started with 10, 9.5, 9. This one is 8.5. So both of the tails are 4.5 inches. So since I measured the bottom one, you can pull that out. Don't need to measure, but you do need to measure your tail length. So you can come back in at 8.5. Guadalupe just said, I was just reflecting on that. How simple it is. The things we don't take for granted. There was somebody who once quoted, I don't know if it was a meme or a post, but someone said, imagine if you woke up tomorrow and you lost everything that you did not thank God for today? How drastically that would change things for a lot of us. Yes, I definitely agree. Laura said the power of prayer knocks on a lot of doors that will open. It does. And they always say that, you know, most of us, instead of praying as a first response, it's our last resort. It's like we'll try everything else before we pray. Why do we forget that? I think besides the fact that we're human in nature, we always think like that God's too busy to take care of this one little thing. But sometimes all he's doing is just waiting for us to ask. Just like a parent with a child. Sometimes you don't know your child needs help unless they ask. You may think that you know they need the help, but until they ask, I mean, God already knows, but a lot of times he just wants to hear from us. Okay, so this one, 4-inch loop, 8-inch tail, and the last one will be a 7.5-inch tail and a 3.5-inch loop. Yeah, Joy, the gold brings out the gold in the golden red ribbon beautifully. I definitely agree. Okay, so look, this is going to pretty much finish up this entire roll. Whatever's left in the gold. Okay, so 7.5 inches. Thanks, Melissa. So Michelle, my problem seems so small in comparison. I think that's why I pray last. It's just funny. Thanks. Sometimes, not that I would ever get a tattoo, but if I was to get one, it would probably say pray first. If we're talking about it, we should pray about it. Too often we talk about it first, about everything we wish it would happen. Yeah, my heart just goes out to the people that lost everything. What an odd circumstance to have that many tornadoes run a path right up the middle of these states and just decimate everything in its path. Okay, we are going to use a gold pipe cleaner. I'm going to take and lift everything out. I'm going to transfer this, put my pipe cleaner right in the center. I'm going to hold and twist, 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 twist. Okay, that one's all done. Let's get the board out, which has been blessed by glitter already. Let's take that pin out. Okay. So this is my handmade fluff board. It was made for me by a very dear friend who's fighting his own battle with cancer. So I solely believe in supporting small business. So I was like, oh, you do great woodworking. Let me have you make me something. Joy. It's not always easy. Sometimes it can get quite complicated. Hang on just one second. Okay. Let me look. Okay. So here's the whole step in making your bows look great. It's just separating them. So I always put this angled to where it's like north and south. Here's the middle. So up at here, we're taking our tail and our loop, pulling it off to the side, go back to the other side, and I'm going to separate these opposite so that the loops are across, the tails are across from each other. And then we're going to go down to the next one. So we're going to pull our tail to the side. We're going to put our loop right in the center. It's biting me because the C-hook is up so high. Then we're going to, if you ever forget, just look at what you did on the top and then just match opposites. So right now we have alternated the colors of our tails and our loops, and then we're just going to keep bringing them down. So let's mix this up because I don't want to put red on red. So let's do red here. Okay, you can do that. As a designer, you can mix it up. Okay, then I'm going to take the gold, pull the gold to the red, go over here, opposites. Okay, let's go ahead and do this. Do opposite, and then do our gold right here, and then right here. So all I did, look, because some people go, you were fluffing as you do it. Some, oh, let me just smash them all down for you, because that's all we were doing is separating. So now you're just going to put your hands in them, and you're going to lift your loops, just like that. Then we're going to do the second one. So while you're styling from the top down, look at what you like to lay next to each other. I generally don't like the same color ribbon tails to sit next to the same colored loop. So I always try to alternate those. So there's our golds. And then I'm like, do I want the burgundy flat? I'm gonna probably pull, let's do these opposite. So I'm going to pull them in opposite directions because I want the burgundy to sit over here with the gold and the gold to sit over here with the burgundy. So because I did that, remember the burgundy or the gold is coming up through these two, and then our burgundy is just coming in at the tail end. Now remember, they're at different levels, so don't try to pull them up and make them all the same height because they're not. This is going to go right underneath. Make sure those are fluffed up. Fluff that up. Fluff this up. Really open those up because the bottom ones really give the support to the players on top. Okay, and then just play with what you like where. What do you like to see? And then if you want to put your arcs back in your loops, just run them through your fingers. And they'll just kind of follow your fingers down. Just like that. These ones are a little harder because they're laying flat on the board. But once we get them on, you can definitely do that. So there's that gorgeous bow. And if you want to intermix your ribbon colors, I think I'm trying to pull some of these over so that I have that red in the middle. Just like so. So there's that bow. Just like that. Okay. Now I'm going to pop this off the same way I pushed it on. There we go. I'm going to push this aside. See, it's been blessed by glitter. Okay. Now, for the moment you've all been waiting for. What's it look like when you put it all together? Well, let's look. Okay. here is our gorgeous sign. Look at how beautiful that is. So we have that, and I like the fact that it's moved over slightly to the right, which means we can let our bows, tails, and loops fall right here, and we're fine. So I'm going to probably put that right at the bottom, and I'm going to position my bow just at the upper corner. So we're going to go put holes on the sides. So I'm going to use my Beadsmith metal hole punch pliers, and it works just like a hole punch does on paper. Who would have ever thought that would have been a thing? The sign is from 3 Birds Nests on Etsy. So I'm going to go ahead and use floral wire to attach my sign. So I'm going to, this is 22 gauge floral wire. Okay, like that. Put these away. Don't need our no more. Let's go ahead. So what we want to do is always build from the back. What does that mean? Well, most people, when they put their pipe cleaners on, they build this, they twist from right here, which means that your wire is going to sit on the outside. If we build it from the back, then it's going to stay on the back side of the sign. So just create a base by twisting about 4 or 5 times. I know, right, Michelle? She said the cutting board's too beautiful to use. As it, like the fluff board, it's too beautiful to use as a cutting board. We actually have a cutting board he designed. That's where the idea came from. I was like, I can't use this to cut anything on. So right now he is, I have an order in for him to make me a fairly large charcuterie board for the holidays, whenever he has time. So, okay, we're gonna go ahead and place that a little on the low side, remember? So I'm gonna look and see if I can spot one of my inside right here. So I'm gonna take advantage of my inside pipe cleaner. Remember the ones we snipped off? I'm gonna go ahead and use this one because I know right where the inside rail is. So I'm gonna take this, I'm gonna pull the mesh forward. So what I want to do is determine how deep do I want that to sit. So right about there. I'm gonna put in 2 twists. Not gonna twist it the rest of the way just in case I have to move it, which means that if I plan this correctly, here's my other pipe cleaner location. Because I made these wires a little on the shorter side. Should have probably made them a little longer. Usually I do. So I'm going to pull this forward to make sure I don't go between anything I need to use to frame. I'm going to push it down. Okay. So now we need to do what's called feather the sign. So right now, if you lay your sign flat on a mesh, you can see the indication where your sign ends. I don't like that. So by feathering the sign, it just means take your mesh that's just around the edge and just let that ruffle frame your design. Just like so. Okay. That way it gets rid of that harsh sign line. So we just want little swirls through there. Sometimes it means you have to redo your little bows to the outside. Now on this side, right here, because we are putting our bow right here, I'm going to take the mesh and I'm going to tuck it underneath. So So I know all that pretty mesh. This is going to go under and support this section. It also allows my bow to lay flat and flush. I'm going to take some of the excess, tuck it under. Still got my outside ones working. Okay. Do the same thing here. Now I'm going to find my pipe cleaner. I'm going to line up where I want that to hit, which is right about there. Sadly, it's going to sit right over one of my half bows, but I'm okay with that. So now I got to work my pipe cleaner, which is very thin and flimsy, down through the layers of all that mesh. Okay. So don't pull too hard, because all that work you just made on fluffing your bow, you don't want to go to waste. So refluff everything the way you like. Make sure all the colors of all your ribbon tails are cascading nicely, like creating that waterfall effect over everything. If this stuff starts to get a tad too unruly, because your ribbons won't lay flat, just give it a quick tuck right where it's not allowing it to fall. I'm just nitpicky about my bow, where I want what to fall in where. Okay, so look at that. Now here, we can fix that. So this is super simple. Remember all the stuff I told you to tuck? This is where you can pull some of that out. And let that just kind of flow around your sign. See what a difference it makes? Just like so. So beautiful. Okay, let's add a couple last minute embellishments. So what is Kat working with today? Okay, well, since you guys weren't in my private group, we were using berries, but sometimes the berries don't come in color combinations that you like. So in this case, let's see, what do I have? So I have gold and silver. Those are a matte finish. We have, we have a little bit darker, but I think those are too dark. That's more grape. So we do have some berries that are frosted, and then there's some that are a little bit darker. And this is a garland. Sometimes, you know, you can just take things that yield the things that you want in them. Like I want the big, dark, oh, not that one. Okay, let's see if we can get this one to pop. Let's see if we break this apart. Let me get my real wire cutters. The ones I should be using. And I don't know why I'm saving them. Okay. This is where we were at. Look how much easier that does. Lord, that helps a person's arms. Okay. I'm attempting to just break down this pick just to get these off because they're all wired in. And everything is wired and taped together. So sometimes you have to deconstruct to find what you like. And that's me, the deconstructor. Okay, come on. I think that one's long enough. sometimes they are not so hard to pull apart. Okay, so we're going to take one. I like the little frosty ones. Let's see. Let's pull some of the gold down. Here's silver. Here's gold. Let's look at these together. I would like that. Do I like that? Not sure that I like the frosty look. I think Frosty's not feeling it. So, let me look at this one. That's kind of pretty with the gray. So I'm going to take these and twist all these together. Then I'm going to snip the ends. These are going to go, let's see, do I want these right underneath the gold? Where do they stand out more? On the gold or on, I'm seeing it right on top of this. They really stand out. So I'm going to glue 6 sets of these in. Right under here. Okay, so there's one set. Let's hope the other ones are not as challenging to remove. So I'm just breaking apart this garland. See, like this one was nice. There's that. Here is the silver. Not silver, it's like a nickel plated one. Push this one in. Twist, twist, remove. Okay. Let's see. Another one of these, another one of these. I don't want the smaller ones. I want the bigger ones. Aha. There's another one. One, 2, 3. Just got to twist them all together. The nice thing about the glue, of course that one came off its end, so let's help it find a new home because it's still in there. It just needs some help. Snip these off. Spin it around right about here. Actually, what I'm doing is cycling through some of my older product I have, like this garland. It was actually part of a storage unit buyout I did a long time ago. Yep, same color, just making sure. So I'm trying to use up some of the stuff I have left over from that. Wow, this is really short. Okay, so let's take this short piece, twist it first, and then twist the other two. Tuck those in. So I know we have one under and we have one over here. So let's get the one. These little balls just want to pull right off the stem. But if I think about it, let's pull that on off. There we go. Bigger stem. Okay. Have to be very careful with that one while it's drying. Let me prep the last one. Let's actually do these ones. Right, Joy? So here's the thing. Get what's called project bins together. And then when you buy supplies that you know are all going to go together, put those together in a bin. That way, when you're like, I know I need to make something, but what do I make? You just go to your project bin and pull all that stuff out. Okay, last one, we need gold. So let's take that, move all those to the side. Oh no, I have two more. So let's twist these. Let's take this one for now. We're going to put this one in the center. We're going to place this one right inside. Trying to get it to stay right where I want it to be. Okay, one last one. There's that, there's that. Let's see. They're all hooked together. So here is one. That looks great. See, I'm just dissecting this large garland because it has the colors I want. So there's our little trio. This one's going to go right up underneath. We're going to tuck that one right inside. It's like underdressing. Yeah, Edna, that works great. Sometimes even if you have a sign and you're like, okay, I get the sign in and I know what mesh I'm putting in, put everything in a tub. And then when it comes in, put your supplies together and then you're ready to start creating. I think that's about it. That's all I'm going to put in it. Let me look something real quick. I would like that. Hold on a sec. I've got these really long picks. They're a garland too, but they have really long pieces that are done like this, which are fun to mix and match. So I just like having a couple of these. Let's see. That's nice because they're wired, so we can maneuver them any which way we want. I don't know if I like that there. I like them out of the bow though. So I think I'm going to put 3 in my bow. Just like that. Okay. So there's our first one. Here's our last one. Nope, this is our last. You just have to remember too that when you're designing, looking from the top down, that things that may lay flat here, when you stand up, now they're gonna be elevated. They're gonna fall forward. So make sure all of your design elements fall in line with that. Let me see. Still playing with little picks. I don't know. I like it the way it is. Simple. I don't think it needs anything else. What do you guys think? Do you like it the way it is? There we go. I think it's done. Like I said, I had things pulled out that were Valentine's Day related, and I don't want to put Valentine's on it because I like the fact that you could leave this up way longer. But there's our final design. And are you guys ready to figure out who our giveaway goes to? Okay. So the winner of our 12 Days of Christmas giveaway is Joy Koski, K-O-S-K-I, Joy Koski. So if you will email me at KatsCreations777@gmail.com with your first last name, unless it's different. Some people do pseudonyms on social media, which is fine. And then your mailing address, I will forward your information on to Pam, and she will let us know what we need to do. I know she was doing a 10-pack of signs, so I don't know if she has those pre-picked or she wants you to pick them, but I am waiting for her to reply back and let me know, and then we'll go from there. So this is our last public live. Thank you guys from the bottom of my heart for joining me for 2021. I think this is a nice way to go out. Have a very Merry Christmas. I pray for you all to have a very blessed holiday, for you to just not be so busy, but to really see the moment, that time is priceless beyond all measure, that the time that we spend with individuals is worth more than any gift that you can place underneath your tree. So give the gift of time this Christmas and really take time and just spend it with your family. All right, everyone, well, have a great rest of your weekend, and I will see you in 2022. Have a great time. Merry Christmas, everyone.